Hello and welcome to Navigate Autism with Jane Lynn. I'm your host, Jane Lynn Britton, and I live here in New Jersey. And right now, spring is blossoming all around me, loving the trees and the flowers, but not so much the pollen and all the allergies that go with it. And I'm sure you can relate. We all have allergies of some sort, and most of us think of allergies as trees and pollen, or something that happens every spring or every fall. But I bet you didn't know that allergies can come up at any time of day, any time of year in your life. And we're going to explore that a little bit more today. Now, some of you may have seen my show back a few months ago where we talked about allergies and we defined what they are. We even talked about kinesiology and how you can detect if you have an allergy. And then we talked about a treatment called Namrudapod Allergy Elimination Technique, or NATE for short. Now that's what I'm calling my Allergy 101 show. And today is Allergy 201 because we're going to take that one step further and you're going to learn how to use a very similar, safe, easy technique at home. So I do invite you to go and watch that show. If you'd like to, you just go to princetontv.org. On the right-hand toolbar, there's a past show link, and then you'll go to Navigate Autism, and it's number 7.17. So it's my 7th show for 2017. So you will learn a little bit about allergies. And then, of course, I'm excited to share with you today how we're going to take that one step further. You're going to meet a doctor, Dr. Ynge Ljung, who has been a NATE practitioner and much more. And she decided there was a better way to do this, to make it more practical so that you can do it, like I said, at home. And we're going to learn all about that, and I'm very excited to introduce you right now to Dr. Ynge Ljung. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you so much for joining. I was very inspired when I met you and heard about all the things that you've done, and definitely am excited that you are sharing that now with not only the autism community, but the community at large, because you're able to help so many people. And before we jump into all of that, I want to share a little bit more about your background. You have, like I said, you're a former NATE practitioner, and you have many different specialties, some of which are acupuncture physician, body talk practitioner, naturopathic medicine, medicine doctor, and also an alternative holistic healer. And adding on top of that, like I said, the NATE. With all that in your background, what was it that kind of drove you or interested you in pursuing NATE?
When I graduated almost 25 years ago, I found something was missing. There were some people who didn't get the results I wanted to have. And I took a lot of courses and found Namrudapod and the NATE system. And that kind of bridged the gap between healing completely, because pains, for example, which is what people normally come to acupuncturists for, it has to do with allergies and digestion and how you absorb food. So I treated with the NATE system for a few years, but I had so many people that came with their kids who had allergies, and later on it became more and more with autism and the spectrum. And they often had more than one kid. The whole family had allergies. Some people had a long way to travel. And so that's why I started to develop my own system, something that people can do themselves.
That is such an amazing and beautiful thing that you did, because like you said, we do travel so far for so many different therapies that we can find, and when it works, we want to keep going back. So taking that out of our life and making things much simpler is something that we very much appreciate. And let's jump into, again, what is an allergy? Like I said, we did do a show not too long ago where we talked about it, but I know that it's something that most people don't really understand how broad it is. So do you mind really explaining what an allergy is?
Yeah, an allergy is a not natural, an unnatural reaction to something that most people don't react to, and on the contrary, is good for you. It can be vitamins, it can be basic foods, it can be practically anything. And we make our immune system from the nutrients we absorb. So it's like a vicious cycle. If you have allergies to something, it doesn't matter how many supplements you give people or you think you eat a healthy, clean diet. If you have allergies, you will just get worse and worse.
So really,
because it's inflammation. Mm-hmm.
Right. So basically what you're saying is an allergy can be anything and everything.
Anything.
It's just how our body is going to respond to it. And then I guess what you're doing is creating a way to help the body be more in balance and respond favorably to what's around us.
Exactly.
Wonderful. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's, I don't know if you want me to explain more about how to do it, how it works.
Well, I was going to ask you, so please, I did bring, so just to show everyone this kit. It's one of your allergy kits. You've created several, and you've spent years really developing this. I think you said you spent about 5 years trialing different combinations. Is that correct?
Yes, before I put it on the internet, yes.
So you really, what I love about that is that you knew the innate process and the energy and the way it can support our healing, but you knew there was something better, and you really went back and forth many times over that 5-year process to come up with the best combinations for what is going to support us. And then you created an at-home kit, which is very convenient. This is the one you sent me, which is for autism. Yes. So why don't you explain a little bit about what is in here?
So in the kit for autism, first of all, it's a basic kit with 7 vials. But then with the environmental, for example, has 4 vials for environments. But the autism has the 4 vials specifically for autism. The first vial, it's built on, for example, we came from an egg. So that is why egg and chicken, which was first, is in the first vial, together with, let me see, egg, chicken, and milk. We get milk when we are born. When we start eating, we eat vitamin C. We are warm-blooded animals, and we all have parasites. So that's in the very first treatment. The next treatment is for sugar and vitamin B. The third is for toxins, because children today are born with, some say 300, others say more, but let's say 300 different toxins in their umbilical cord. Mm. Yeah.
Amazing.
The
right?
next is the next is vaccinations. The one for 5th treatment is for sugar again and candida, because most people and most autistic children, they suffer from candida. So the sugar treatments are very, very important. And the next is for grains. And the 7 vial is a mixture of endocrines, organs, and the first 6 vials. Then in the autism kit, we also have neurotransmitters, oxalates, and phenols and salicylates, because they are in fruits and veggies, and very often these kids, they react, and we don't really understand why.
Right.
And then there is also a vial for balancing the brain.
So all of these vials, which we're talking in a minute about the process to use the kit, but can you explain a little bit about how it works in terms of when you hold it, you use the process, what message, what's happening in your body that says, okay, This is why we did Candida and sugar.
The vials are imprinted with frequencies from, for example, if you say Candida and sugar. By the way, it's very important to do them in order 1 through 7.
Okay.
They are homeopathized, and homeopathy means like cures like. So when you hold the vial, and then we use a cold laser that helps to imprint the frequencies from the vial into the body, and in that way eliminating the curve, the frequencies that are bad for you. So that way the body harmonizes and can absorb that substance, and you can start to build up your immune system again.
Wonderful. And it's very easy to use. In a minute, we're going to show a video here, but basically what you're doing is you're holding these vials near your belly button with a Q-tip that you lick, right? And then
Yes.
you're using this laser that you created, right?
No,
No,
it's just it's a special frequency of the laser.
perfect.
So they are available.
So, and then you just basically you're stimulating the different meridians, like in your ears and your head and your belly button, and you're doing that for a total of about 10 minutes. I did one last night, and I've been doing them for a few weeks, so I'm more familiar with the process, and I can say it's very easy. Obviously, it doesn't hurt, but there is an effect. I can feel after I've done it, I start to feel tired. And I think that's why you say do it at night. Or actually, why do you tell us to do it at night before bedtime?
There are 2 reasons. First of all, people get relaxed, and that is often confused with being tired, but they sleep better after the treatment. The other is that during the night, hopefully, they don't go up and eat. So they stay away from food or putting anything in their digestive system.
Right.
That is why it's easier when they do it at night.
Right. Well, that does make sense. And if you saw, or anyone who saw the show we did, as I said, Allergy 101, Dr. Susan Ford treated me for sugar. And when she muscle tested me, she realized I needed to stay away from it for 2 days, 48 hours. And if you can imagine, sugar is in almost everything, like even carrots and fruit. So I could not eat sugar for 48 hours. But with this process that you've created, now if you do it before you go to bed, then you can wake up and not have to avoid those substances, which makes it easier for me as a mom, definitely easier for our kids with autism.
Yes. And of course, if somebody has very bad reactions when they eat something, then I recommend they do it with a surrogate.
Okay, that's a good point. So if there's an allergy we know is a strong allergy for ourselves or our children, we would want to use a surrogate. And the surrogate is mainly, I know there's a video you have on your website, but just quickly to explain, it could be me as a surrogate for my son if I'm holding his hand or touching his leg?
Or just hit him anywhere, leg or shoulder. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Another thing because I know especially with some kids that are very unruly, they can do the treatment while they're asleep.
Okay, interesting. So if the child doesn't sit still or you're having a hard time, they don't want to do it,
yes,
you can do it while they're asleep. Okay, that's good to know. Now, I do have a question. I thought of it last night because my son has not been feeling well, and I had been using some of these treatments on him. Is this something that I can do if he's not well? Or should I wait?
Well, yes, if he doesn't feel well, I suggest that you wait 1 or 2 days. And also that you do the 4 gate afterwards. The 4 gates is the point between the thumb and the forefinger. You just put the laser there. Start on the left hand, go to the left foot. That's the same between the big toe and the, yes.
Okay, so on my hand and then the big toe and the small, okay.
Between the big toe and the second toe, and then you go to the right foot and through the right hand, and you just go in circles. That often makes them feel better.
when they're sick.
When they don't, yeah, it's good to do it. You can do one round after each treatment. And in case they feel bad, you just go back and do the rounds a few times with, they are called the 4-gate.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to take a break just for a moment to show how simple this process is. So we'll be back in just a moment. Hello, everyone. After we filmed the show, Dr. Ynge Ljung and I decided that I would create a video and show you how to use the kit so I can show you how I use it in my home. Now, I was going to do it with my son William, but he's sick right now, so I decided to show you myself. First, you simply take the first 2 vials. One is vial number 1, and then the stress vial. And you take a Q-tip and you lick it, and then you're going to put it on your belly button. Let's pretend that I have pants on that are covering and holding in place these 2 vials and the Q-tip. Put them right here on my belly button, and then you just take this laser and you move it around in circles for the count of 15. While you're still holding those vials and Q-tip in place on your belly button, you take the laser and you turn it on and you move it around your right ear for the count of 15. You would be surprised at the number of meridians that are in your ear. And when you're done with 15, you take it to your head and you move it around the top of your head for the count of 15. And then you do your left ear for the same, for the count of 15. And then finally you go back to your belly button area for the count of 15. So simple. Now that is 1 repetition, and you want to do that between 4 and 7 times. I've done it 4, I've done it 7. I actually feel like I'm getting more relief when I'm doing it, like allergy relief, when I do it as close to 7 times as possible. But you see how easy it is, and the reason I love it is it's portable. I can take it with me home when I travel. It's easy, it doesn't hurt, and it's very effective. Welcome back to Navigate Autism with Jane Lynn. I'm your host, Jane Lynn Britton, and today we're talking with Dr. Ynge Ljung, who's telling us about the Allergy Kit that she has developed and for your own personal at-home use. So thank you for joining us. And Ynge, I'd like to ask you again, we were just talking about how to use, and we're showing a video on how to use your Allergy Kit that you developed, all the vials, with this laser. And I know from speaking with you that you've had some great success. You have some stories of success with kids with autism. Would you mind sharing one or some of the things that you've seen and how it helps them?
The latest child is a person who bought the Allergy Kit. She had several times it had come up that the child had allergies, but she didn't really think he did. Anyway, she looked for Nate, but she lived too far away from a practitioner, and Googled and found the Allergy Kit and bought it. Her child was extreme rage, anger, would run after her with scissors or a knife, and had made holes in walls and doors, couldn't focus. It was very obsessive, would not share with any other child. Very difficult in class because he couldn't focus. And the mother couldn't, of course, not work either. He started the treatments about a couple of months ago. And the mother saw a change very, very soon. The kid, of course, now and then still gets temper tantrums. The meltdowns are almost gone. He does not run after her with scissors anymore. He can sit in class and dissect the little tiny things that before would make him just have a meltdown, and she would have to carry him out screaming and kicking. Now he sits down. So that is a big, big, big change.
That is a huge change.
Yes. I have had other kids one child, for example, who was in special class because his behavior was so bad. His mother worked as a teacher at the same school, and she was very shameful about that. He changed like within 2 weeks of treatments. He came out of the class. He started treatments in the spring, and in fall he was in a normal class and even a honor student after he had finished the treatments and went back to normal class. Ever after he was in honor class. Or what do you call it? He was an honor student.
It's an honor student.
Yeah. So, and for example, many kids, they have they get candida because they start to get antibiotics because they have an ear infection, for example, which really is an allergy to milk. I had one little girl who, she was not autistic, but she was not thriving, very little and very small. And she was in the doctor's office every 2 to 3 weeks for either the strep throat or ear infection. So she lived on antibiotics. After treating for the milk, she did not have any more ear infections. And then, of course, they had to start to build her immune system.
Right.
And
that is wonderful. So there's a lot of different ways and examples that you already have and how this is helping kids. And I can tell you from my own experience, now I'm just new to the Allergy Kit, but we've done the NATE. And we've done that for many different years. And we've seen so many changes in not only my son, but myself and my whole family. And I'm really excited though that now I can do it at home and have that flexibility. And I'm glad you told me about doing it at night when he's asleep, because one of my questions was, what if we get out of routine? You suggest doing it at night before bed, and routine is important for all of us, especially kids with autism, but sometimes we get out of routine even for a long period of time. And so my fear was, what do I do and how do I get this great benefit for him? But the one way is doing it at night. What else would you suggest if for some reason I can't do it while he sleeps?
just wait till the next day. It's not a race. Even though there can be many treatments, the basic kit is just the basic kit. Most kids or most people need more treatments than what's in the basic.
Okay. And when you say more, what does that more look like? What would that cover?
It could be cats and dogs and different foods. There are so many things that people are allergic to.
I remember you mentioning even emotional.
And oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have an emotional kit, and I have, for example, mothers who treat their autistic children with anxiety or fear in the morning before they go to school, because they're often anxious about going. And when they come back, they're angry, so they treat them for anger when they come back.
Oh,
and
wow.
It kind of keeps them calm.
Well, that's good. So they develop their own routine. So then that's a good point, because we just said to everyone, do it at night. But you can do it if you know that, like for an emotion, for instance, you can do it when they're getting ready to go into that situation.
And also, for example, some people have cats or dogs. So they are in the house during the night. So they do it at night, but then they can do it in the morning, or a day later do it in the morning. Just since you have the kit, you can always do it kind of whenever you want to.
Right.
So it's not that you have to do it at night, it's more practical.
Okay. And so I think also what you're saying then is to use muscle testing to see if you need to do it again, or if you've gone through the cycle. I think we talked about this before too. Maybe you go through all the kits and you realize maybe I need to do it again, but you may not need to do all the vials. Or do you? If you, let's say a year from now I want to do the kit again, should I go in the same sequence, or can I just pick the ones I know I'm allergic to through muscle testing?
Yes, you can pick the ones you know you're allergic to.
Okay.
And for example, with sugar, since you mentioned it's in everything, I think that should be done maybe once a month.
Okay. And so what we would see maybe is less of a reaction when we eat sugar, not only with maybe candida, but I know when I eat sugar, or my son does, I have more energy. So maybe there's like an imbalance of that hyperness.
Well, you will get rid of the cravings
That's
when
great.
you do the, yes, because it is really a sign of candida. The candida bacteria, they just want to reproduce. They need more sugar. They need sugar to reproduce.
Okay. Very
So,
interesting. I love this. So Ynge, there are people all over the world who will watch this, and I wanted to know, and they'll probably love learning more from you about this. How can they learn more from you and about the Allergy Kit?
well, they can go to the website, theallergykit.com. There is also a chat box, and if I am not available for chatting, they can always write a question, and I get an email about it.
So you will be the one answering their emails.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And I also wrote a book. It's on Amazon as an ebook called Finding Your Lost Child, Understanding Allergies, Nutrition, and Detox in Autism. And there is a lot of information also.
Wonderful. Thank you for mentioning that. So that's your book on Amazon. It's an ebook. And is there a Facebook group?
Yes, we the Allergy Kit Facebook group.
Okay.
So they can go in and put questions there. I haven't had it that much alive because I didn't really know how to use it.
So up and coming.
But I'm getting there.
Oh, wonderful. Well, there's so many other ways they can reach you, including Facebook. So that's wonderful. And we only have like one more minute, but is there anything that I didn't ask or we didn't cover that you feel is really important that these parents should know?
I think they should realize that they all have allergies, these kids, because their digestive systems are a mess most of the time. And the Allergy Kit can help them so much in healing the gut.
Great. I agree. Thank you so much. Like I said, I've seen wonderful benefits from Nate, and I'm starting to see that from your Allergy Kit. And I'm so excited that you took that process one step further so that people don't have to drive so far. They can do it in the convenience of their own home. They can travel with it, and it's much more affordable.
They can use it for the whole family. How many kids they have, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. It's not like going to a practitioner and getting 5 treatments at once. You can do it at home with this one kit over and over as many times as you'd like. So thank you for developing it, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us from Facebook Live, to all of our viewers. And I hope that this is something that you find interesting and helpful. And certainly you have many ways that you can reach out and find more information. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Navigate Autism with Ynge Ljung.